So, Kim, you already have a master's degree. What brought you to Heritage Christian University to pursue another Master of Ministry?
Well, my previous experience is I was a school teacher for 16 years, and I would have students and teachers come to me and want to talk. And so I always had, I think, this counseling thread kind of going through what I was doing, and I was trying to figure out how I could bring it within the church setting. And so I found Heritage. We knew about Heritage. My son attended Titus Camp here for many years. So I knew about Heritage and realized that they had a master's of ministry in counseling that I could use at our congregation to have biblical counseling for women. So that I started pursuing that degree. I'm halfway through the program now.
What is a practicum?
So practicum is at the end of your course study, you can choose to do 6 hours. It's called a practicum, and it's really I think it's a specialized area that you want to really focus on, and you're going to create some sort of product from that, whether it be a book or a class or um, information that you can share with other people. You're looking usually at something that needs to be addressed, maybe a problem or an issue. And so I chose to work on a practicum instead of taking the 6 hours of in class courses.
Okay. What is the topic? Just give us a rundown of what you plan to accomplish with your practicum.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some basic counseling skills that I can put together and then go and teach women within our congregation those basic counseling skills so then they can go and counsel other women in need.
What are some of the tasks required to complete a practicum experience? So break it down, sort of the steps that you go through.
All right, so you're under the direction of a professor. So you meet with your professor and you kind of lay out the plan of what you want to accomplish. They have to approve it. They support you. So you have to, first of all, do lots of research, academic research. You have to, if it warrants, to conduct interviews, maybe talk with congregations, and you're just gathering information about the problem. And then you put it into a book, really. It's a minimum, I think, 30 pages that you have to write up. And you will then, after you have to create some sort of product from it, so like a book or something, or a course. My case would probably be, I'm thinking of it being a course, maybe a series of classes that I could teach. Then at the end of that, you have to defend it. So you have to sit in front of committee members, professors at Heritage. They will ask questions and you will talk to them about your practicum and really see how it would be beneficial to use in the church setting.
Just so you know, it might be more than the committee members. The entire faculty is invited to watch you present.
Okay. No, that is not
They did
in
not
the
tell me
book.
that until the day before. They did not tell me that until the day before. And so Michael just like snuck in 5 minutes after it started and I became a nervous wreck. But they are so supportive, really.
Yes,
They're
yes.
very supportive. It's a very positive, affirming experience. So how are you integrating your practicum into the work that you do with your local congregation?
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take what I have learned. What I'm focusing on is just some basic counseling skills like active listening and empathy, things like that. That I can go and teach ladies who maybe are interested in counseling, but they've never had any type of training. They don't want to go back to school and get the formal training. So just some basic skills that would help them to then counsel other women. So we would be using this really as a ministry within our congregation. I also envisioned that possibly that I could take it, and let other congregations, of course, use it if they wish to do so. Maybe present it at Ladies' Days, things like that. There's such a need for women to be able to talk to other women about issues where they may not feel comfortable talking to their elder or their preacher. Um, you know, Nothing that they've done. It's just it might be a sensitive issue that they want to talk to another woman about that she could understand. So that's kind of how I kind of envision the practicum working.
Have your elders been receptive?
Yes, they've been very receptive. From the beginning, I talked to them when I had this idea about going back to school, because I want to use this within the church setting. I'm not going to get licensed. I'm not going to go the state route to get licensed. And I went and sat down with the elders and I said, I'm thinking of doing this. And probably within a half a second, all four of them said, yes, do it. We need it. So they have been very supportive. I've got one elder. At the end of every semester, he says, tell me your grades. So we have to go over my grades. Yes, they've been very supportive and they're looking forward to implementing this program.
And it sounds like your program will be something that once you've trained one group of women,
Yes.
those women then can turn around and train
Exactly. Right. And so we're equipping the saints. We're also abiding by Titus 2. So we're helping women help women.
That's great. What's one way that the practicum has already blessed you?
I think the relationships that I've been able to connect with here at Heritage Christian has been a blessing to me. I've also been able to connect with ladies who do counseling in their congregations that I would have never have met before. And then just, being able to talk to people because they're interested in what I'm doing. I've got several at my congregation that know I'm in school and they're interested in what I'm doing, and just having that support system is important, and that's been a blessing.
Another way that your practicum has been a blessing is that you will be able to beta test some of the things that you're doing for your practicum in a class here at Heritage. So I'll be teaching a women's class on ministering to women in pain in the spring, and you're going to be able to come in and work with our students. How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, so at that point, in the spring of next year, I'll be able to come in and teach the students in your class. I'm looking at maybe 4 or 5 tools that I can teach them to where then they can, do the same thing. They can go out. So we'll talk about a lot of class discussion about what these tools are. Like, for example, active listening. What does it mean to be an active listener? I'll give them some research to educate them about the importance of it, things like that. So we'll be able to use that with your classes.
Some people are very intimidated by the idea of a practicum or a thesis. What would you say to those students now that you're in the middle of it?
Oh, I don't think you need to be intimidated because you get so much support. Starting with the faculty, when I had this idea, I didn't even know, I did not know if this would be a good thing or a bad thing, if it was, not smart to do. But my professor that is over, my supervisor professor, he was able to give me some ideas and about some direction that I want to take it. And I don't think you need to be scared at all because it really kind of gives you the freedom to explore something that maybe has been in your heart and mind that you want to look at a little bit deeper. And it also, what I love about it is I know at the end, hopefully, prayerfully, that it's going to do some good for women.
How difficult has it been to do your research as a DL student? Has that been something that is easy?
No, we live about an hour and a half from Florence, so I'm able to come over as needed. But honestly, I've gotten a lot of it online. And so that really has not been an issue. I went to a secular school and I was scared to death to take the Bible classes. So my undergraduate, my graduate degrees did not come from a secular school. So I've never had a college level or graduate level Bible class. And so when I when I realized I wanted to come to Heritage, one of the things that pause had me to think was about the Bible classes, because I had just never had it at that level. But I will tell you that I have taken some great Bible classes with great professors. I've learned a lot. It is challenging, but it's not anything that you can't do. They are so supportive. They are so understanding and able to help in any manner that they can. It is not your typical, in other words, learning Bible from a professor who's a professor that specializes in the New Testament Christianity is a lot different from Sunday school lessons, and it should be. But don't let that intimidate you, because they are so supportive, and they will answer any question, because believe me, I have asked about all of them, I believe. And so that is something that really is great about Heritage, because they are so supportive, and they will tell you, they will say, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you call me. We don't want, in fact, I had a professor say, do not get overwhelmed. If you get overwhelmed, you call me and we'll talk. And so that is just so comforting. And also knowing that everyone is a member of the church. I mean, we're all family anyway. And so it's just a nice learning environment.
Have you encountered any challenges being a female in a predominantly male major?
I would not call them a challenge. When when you get a lot of preachers together, they're all going to talk, as they should, and that's fine, because I've learned so much from them. So I just said, let them talk, and then I'll put my 2 cents worth in. Sometimes at the end of the conversation, before we're moving on to the other topic, I will say, and I've got 2 cents to say, and so I'll just say it, and I'm not intimidated. In fact, I've had many of them tell me that that it's a blessing. They feel like that I'm a blessing to them, but although they're such a blessing to me, because I've learned so much. Also, when I did my undergraduate and graduate work before, there was no Zoom, there was no email even. I'm aging myself now, but there was no email. But I am sitting in Huntsville, Alabama, and I've got classes with people that are sitting in Colorado, Maryland, Texas. And I mean, I feel like I could pick up the phone and call them tomorrow, that I feel that connection with them. And so, being a distance learner, really, it hasn't really changed. I mean, I feel as close to them as if I would be sitting in a regular classroom.
I finished my Master of Ministry in 2021. And when I started my master's, I could count on one hand the number of women I knew that had a master's degree in any sort of biblical studies or ministry. Since then, Heritage has several. I think that we have 5 currently. And I think that that's important, because women are intelligent. Women want to study. Women want to learn. Women want to engage Scripture in a deeper way than sometimes they've been given the opportunity in the past, with each other in settings that are all female. How have you felt equipped to do that through coming to school at Heritage?
Well, my understanding of the Bible now is so much richer and deeper than it was before. Just, I've, like I said, I'm halfway through the program, and things are, I'll have one class that'll pop up, and then another class that'll pop up, and it's kind of, you can see how everything magically, not magically because God did it, fits together. So, I think it's important that women get together and talk about the Bible, and Heritage has given us that opportunity. A lot of women in Bible classes don't talk unless they're in an all ladies class, and that's fine. But even then, when you're in an all ladies class, some of them don't talk. And so I think that to be able to sit and study with men and other ladies who have studied Greek. I mean, there's several students, ladies, that are taking Greek and Hebrew right now.
And I think it's important modeling for other women to not be afraid or intimidated, and to seek answers for themselves in Scripture. And as we model that for the younger generations, then I think they will be more empowered to rise up and teach. And
Well, and what's so great about, with COVID, we had to use Zoom because that was the only way we had. And I know that Zoom has gotten a lot of negative aspects. People hate it or they love it. But one thing that I appreciate about Zoom is that not only am I learning from the professors who have spent their lives studying subjects, but I'm also learning from the people in class. And so that experience to me is priceless. You cannot put a price tag on what people have gone through in their lives and how it's affected their churches. And I mean, every week when I'm sitting in class, I have an aha moment because somebody will bring up a story or something that they've done or something that they've seen done, whether good or bad within the church. And it's always a learning opportunity. And that's just something that you wouldn't get anywhere else.